Well, welcome back to the Wings Conference 2016 here in beautiful Seattle, Washington. And today we have with us one of our keynote speakers, Mr. Robert Fleishner. Welcome.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm Bob Fleishner. I'm an attorney from Massachusetts. I work at something called the Center for Public Representation. We're a public interest law firm that represents people with disabilities, and a lot of my work since I started working has been in the area of guardianship. About 15 years ago, we started a process in Massachusetts of trying to reform our guardianship law. We have a very robust case law in Massachusetts, but our guardianship statute, some of the pieces of the statute went back to the Puritans and was about as effective as they were at doing this. So there was an effort led by the probate court, which does our guardianship, and by the big bar associations to reform the entire trust and estates law, and guardianship was a piece of that. It took 15 years to get it done, but effective in 2011, we adopted the Article 5 of the Uniform Probate Code, which did an enormous amount to change and improve areas that the state Supreme Court hadn't already fixed through case law, particularly procedurally, the rights of people who are subject to guardianship, reviews, the right to be in court, assignment of counsel, those sorts of things. But in the other work that I do, which is largely representing people who are in institutions to get them integrated into communities and out of segregated settings, it became clear that the entire idea of guardianship for many people runs contrary to developing notions of integration and independence. So we were looking for an alternative to guardianship, and we certainly didn't invent this, but became aware of supported decision-making as an alternative, and entered into some work and some planning with some experts from around the world to think about it, and started about a year and a half, 2 years ago, started a pilot project in the western part of Massachusetts to use supported decision-making agreements as an alternative to guardianship for a group of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And over the last year and a half, we've been implementing that pilot project.
Tomorrow, with everybody there, what are you hoping they're going to take away?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to do probably stuff that people already know, which is a little bit about guardianship and guardianship reform. And then something which some people may know and others may not, about what supported decision-making is, where it comes from, who the leaders in the world are, who the leaders in the United States are, and then talk primarily about our project and both what we've done, how we've implemented it for a small group of people, about a dozen people, and the lessons that we've learned from that, the issues that have come up in doing it, the difficulties of doing it, the promise of doing it, the significant successes for almost everyone that we've done it for, and how we now have one person who's been discharged from guardianship in favor of supportive decision-making arrangement, another who's in the process of that, and the rest of the participants are people who are at risk of guardianship and who we think, as a consequence of this, will probably, hopefully, never have to go under guardianship.
So this is really a groundbreaking endeavor here, kind of, for the country, not just in Massachusetts, but here you are in Washington State talking about it too.
We're not the first. There have been small projects. There was a small one in Texas. There was a small one about a dozen years ago, and although it wasn't called supported decision-making, in New Hampshire. But we're the first really organized attempt to do a pilot and to do it very, not to say that others weren't thoughtful about what they're doing, but with the high degree of intentionality. So we have an advisory council. We've been evaluated. We've participated in an in-depth evaluation of what we've been doing by a high-quality human services research institute in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and they produced a 50 or 60-page report. And just last week we had a second planning meeting to figure out, now what do we do? What comes next? How do we deal with the hard issues that came up in the first year and a half? We've also been lucky to work with other states who are starting to do this. There's a project just been funded, a large project just funded in New York State by the DD Council. The University of Texas Law School is doing a project for 18-year-olds, which is a particularly important place to look. There are other projects in Texas. There's a very good one in Maine. And there are other projects around the United States funded by the federal government. So.
Well, thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I'm sure everybody will too. So thank you again for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right.